All right. Thanks again for everyone coming out. Obviously, it's a big game this weekend for us. But first, I'd like to start off by congratulating Taylor Johnson and Erica Carter. Both will be walking tonight for graduation. It's the neat thing about this. You know, everybody comes out and gets a chance to see them play basketball games, but they don't always see all the work that's done in the classroom, preparing, making sure they're taking care of business for this night. This is the biggest win of their careers, is when they get that opportunity to walk across the stage. So we're really excited for both of them. It's going to be a great night for them, and then hopefully they'll be able to regroup, recover, and be focused for a huge game on Sunday.
How have you seen the rivalry game change just since you've been here? It seems like in recent years it's become a lot more competitive. Whereas, first couple of years there were double-digit wins and stuff like that.
Well, I think you look at just how things have gone on. I mean, both programs have recruited extremely well. I think the last 5 or 6 years they've been very, very good basketball games. Have gone down to the wire. I expect that to continue. When you get the caliber of basketball that Kentucky plays and we're playing, it's going to, it's a rivalry game. It's a great environment, no matter if we're playing here or playing there. And I expect the same thing.
They went through a little stretch. I think 5 games, 10 games. The last stretch, the week, they looked a little tired. How do you expect them to kind of enter this game?
Well, they'll be fine. And I don't necessarily say that they look tired. They played good basketball team. They went down and played a Florida Gulf Coast team that's really good. I compare that to when we went up to South Dakota State and played. We come back, we squeaked out a 4-point win, and everybody's like, I thought you beat them by 30. And I'm like, well, why'd you think that? Well, it's South Dakota State. I'm like, you don't follow women's basketball well enough to know how good South Dakota State is, and that's the same thing for Florida Gulf Coast. I'll give Matthew credit. Not many people go there and play because it's such a tough place to play. So they played good basketball teams. They're a top 20 basketball club. We know that. They've got our complete respect.
What did your team learn from road trips to Ohio State and South Dakota State that maybe you can apply this weekend?
Well, we're going to have to just worry about the game. We can't get caught up in the officiating. You can't get emotionally charged if a call doesn't go your way. And then the crowd. We were very fortunate. South Dakota State had an unbelievable environment. Ohio State was great. So we played in environments that aren't necessarily pro-Louisville. And we're expecting that same thing on Sunday. So we've got to be able to handle that and then just be able to roll with the runs. It's going to be a game of runs. No team's just going to roll in here and win by 25. It's not going to happen. Both of these programs are too well established right now with too many good players to allow that to happen.
Is it good for women's college basketball in the state? Both of these programs are up.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, it's not just us. You look at Western Kentucky. I mean, we have very good women's basketball in this state through all of our colleges, all of our universities. So, we just sometimes get more of the publicity. But I know what Michelle is doing down there. I mean, I think Missouri's 10-1 right now, with the only loss being Western Kentucky. So there's great basketball being played, and we're just trying to make sure we do our part to make sure everybody knows how good the quality is. And I expect Sunday's game to be great. I would hope it'd be a wonderful crowd.
How close is your team playing the type of defense that you want them to play?
Well, I mean, we're getting better. Are there things we still have to work on? Yes. I mean, we have to do a better job of contesting the three-point line. Teams are shooting the three very well against us, so that's one area that we have to improve on. And we know on Sunday, we're playing against Mason Morris, who's shooting close to 50% from the three-point line. So if we don't get that fixed, that's not going to be a very good outcome for us.
What do you remember about your very first game here against Kentucky from 2007? I think it was in Rupp. You guys won. I think that was with Patrika and Angel, all those games.
Yeah, that goes back to Angel McCautry, and I don't know if that was our first game, if we played there or if it was here. But I can remember Angel getting, she dove for a ball, got her forehead split open, and she had to go back and get about 14 stitches right between her eyes. And I remember her mom calling me after the ball game just to make sure she was okay. And she's like, do we need to do any x-rays, make sure, there's no fracture or anything? And I was like, no, she's good. And She was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Well, yeah, because the doc said they could see her skull. It split so good." And her mom was like, "Oh, okay." But that's a kid that I miss. I mean, she went in there, she got stitched up, and she was like, "I'm ready." And she came out and played. And, the neat story about that whole thing is my grandfather, that's about 8 years ago. So he was about 88. He still watches all of our games, and he came, and Angel obviously was 35, and she had blood on her jersey. So she had to get a new jersey on, and she came out, I think it's 44, 45. And after the game, my grandfather's like, "Hey, you should play 44 more." And I was like, "Okay, I got you." So he didn't realize, because he had a seat higher up, that it was Angel, just in a different jersey.
Is there a person or a player you have now that reminds you of Angel type of hustle?
Well, Angel's unique. I mean, I'm not going to try to compare anybody to her. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I mean, that speaks volumes for itself. But we have some players that compete. We understand the importance of this basketball game, just not for us, but for our fan base. It's a big game for both programs. I mean, we're both trying to vie for seeding in postseason, for bragging rights in the state. So it's going to be a really hard-fought game.
In Maisha and Asia, you've got two, superstars really, but when you look at how you guys have been playing a lot of team basketball, how much are you stressing that as the importance to success?
Well, we really don't stress it. I mean, it's just our players, really have a lot of respect for each other's game. And when that evolves, they have confidence in each other. And, Asia had 47. We all know that at Ohio State. She had a wonderful game, but her teammates got her involved a lot. Her teammates did a wonderful job setting screens for her. I'd love to see that on Sunday, but I'm not expecting it. But the good thing for us is we've been able to have a lot of success because everybody can contribute, everybody's scoring, and we're going to need that, because I know Kentucky's going to come out and defend extremely well.
What are you expecting from Matthew this time? You guys aren't strangers.
They're going to come out and play hard. It's what they do. I mean, they're going to press some. They're going to mix some things up at the defensive end, I would expect. But it's always a hard-fought game. I mean, players make plays, and it's what it's going to come down to again. And they've got some great players. Macy Morris is having a great year. Taylor Murray's been a handful for us in the past. Then they've got some freshmen too. That you just never know sometimes with freshmen when they get thrown into this environment. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dana does. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, now this is a big time game now. And it's not that Ohio State and your Oregons weren't, but now it's a rivalry game in state with a lot on the line.
Being a rivalry game, are you hearing from any former players, shooting you text, emails, that kind of stuff?
No, they've. You know what? I stay in touch with most of them, and they'll sit there and send a good luck text, things like that. But nothing in the terms of, hey, this is a big one. You got to win this one for us. Anything like that yet? But there's still a few days left. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you guys.